What's going on? It's your boy Sheiv, the Wise. Welcome into the chat, everybody. I hope you're doing well. I'm not sure what's going on with the audio. I'm trying to fix it. I'm trying to fix it. Trying to fix it. Tell me what's happening in the chat. I don't know. I'm trying to fix the audio. I got the new computer working, but welcome into the chat, guys. It is good to see every single one of you guys. I hope you're doing well, and happy Mandalorian and Bad Batch Tuesday. Let's go. It is about to be a hype night. It was definitely a fun time getting 2 episodes of Star Wars on the same night the last 2 weeks, and especially last week. So let's head in the lair. Let's talk about it. I hope you're doing good, and let's get it going. Do it. Welcome into the chat. See, I don't know why. I gotta figure out the transition thing because it just restarts the music. Hopefully you guys can hear it. Gotta fix the bugs still, but it's all good. Welcome into the chat, guys. It is that time of the week. It's Star Wars time. Let's go. We got a lot to talk about before these episodes tonight, so buckle in, get your theories in, or any kind of predictions that you have for tonight's episode, because I have a lot, especially with The Mandalorian. After seeing the Mythosaur last week at the end of Season 3, Episode 2, the possibilities are limitless. I cannot wait. I'm excited to dive into the episodes in our watch parties later tonight as well. I know it's going to be a good time. So let's talk about episode 3. Let's get it going. I think we might pick up right where we left off last week with Din Djarin and Bo-Katan still beneath the mines of Mandalore in the living water. They kind of just, Bo saved Din, and I'm kind of curious right now. One of my big questions for tonight: did Din Djarin even see the Mythosaur? It was kind of pointed out to me that Bo-Katan might have been the only one that really got a good look. Din Djarin might have been knocked out by the time he was at the bottom of that little, of the living waters. Maybe Bo-Katan was the only one that saw the Mythosaur. But I don't know yet. That's kind of just a working theory right now. I don't know exactly where that's going to lead, or who's going to potentially tame the Mythosaur at some point. I mean, that's where I think this is going, having the Mythosaur come back into canon. And let me see if the music is a little lower right there, but still, I think the having the Mythosaur come in, I think it can only mean one thing: that's like a bigger thing for the Mandalorian culture than even the Darksaber is. We know that back in the book of Boba Fett, the armorer basically said that the Mythosaur will rise up, or the songs of eons past foretold that the Mythosaur would rise up again to usher in a new age of Mandalore. Yo, Park Outdoors, good to see you in the chat, my guy. Timothy, good to see you too. Adam Hunter as well. But that's where I'm thinking this Mythosaur, is going to be taking us throughout the season, is that it's going to be a symbol that kind of brings the people back. I think we've seen some stuff in the trailers that I kind of want to watch through again with you guys tonight to see what we've missed, or what we've seen so far and what we haven't seen, because I think there's going to be a few things in those trailers that we'll get into here, including maybe Moff Gideon and Dr. Pershing, what's potentially going on with the New Republic and the remnants of the Empire. Back in episode 1 of season 3, or the premiere of this season, Greef Karga actually mentioned what happened to Moff Gideon, and also what happened to, of course, Cara Dune, and how once she apprehended Moff Gideon, she was welcomed into like the special forces of the New Republic, right? So Moff Gideon is off at this war tribunal, is what Greef Karga said. So maybe we're gonna get kind of a peek into what's going on with that war tribunal, him being taken in by the New Republic, going through their kind of court system, I guess you could say. I have this kind of picture in my head of what that's gonna be, of Moff Gideon potentially, being put on trial, I guess you could say. Then bringing in Dr. Pershing to kind of be a dude that had, like, upfront seats to the crimes that he committed. He can be kind of a, give up Moff Gideon and what he did, and we'll give you a little more of a lenient sentence. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's going on with Dr. Pershing. But what are you guys thinking for tonight's episode? Are you guys excited? Let me know in the chat. What's your hype level for tonight's episode of The Mandalorian Season 3, Episode 3? 3. I'm definitely freaking excited for it, and I want to see what you guys have to say in terms of any theories that you have. So let's get into the chat here. Steve Sarenko, what up, my dude? It is good to see you. The music started beatboxing. Uh-oh. That's never a good thing. You don't want that one. Spartan Joker, you've been gifted a membership by Lord Vito. Thank you, Lord Vito, for the 5 Vader's Lair memberships. Welcome to the dark side. To the 5 lucky members that ended up getting a membership from Lord Vito, make sure to say thank you to him. And thank you, Lord Vito, for supporting the channel. I appreciate you, my friend. Don Basham, it's good to see you in the chat. Caught me as I was off to sleep. Have a fun viewing. I'll do the rewatch. This is the way. I appreciate it, Don B, and I hope you have a fantastic rest of your night. Tim, it's good to see you in the chat, my bro, and I'm glad to see that you're hyped. Love to see the Grogu emotes. I love to see the Grogu emotes in the chat. It is good to see all you guys. Adam Hunter said it's like the the Leviathan of Mandalorian lore. It is, right? It's pretty freaking cool, man. It's pretty freaking cool. He doesn't need faith to believe. No, he doesn't, Adam Hunter. No, he doesn't. My prediction is all about the Mythosaur, says Steve Starenka. And yes, theory time is definitely coming up here, Kylie. We definitely have some theories coming up tonight because I have a couple of big ones. Tonight's episode is said to be about 56 minutes and 11 seconds, roughly. That's rough encounter there of what tonight's episode length it's gonna be. We're also getting close to the midway point of the season. I know we're only 3 episodes in tonight, but that's already almost halfway through the season. So I expect a lot is gonna be packed into this hour episode, just like it was back in episode 1 of the season, with like 34 minutes feeling like a whole hour itself. You know what I mean? So with tonight's episode, what is we saying in the chat? CT0420, this is the way. Yes, it is. And I am so hype as well, Ashhammer. It's good to see you too. Anakin Skywalker, thank you, my friend. Thank you for protecting us in the Clone Wars. You dark, dirty man, you. The hype is 10, says Kylie. Let's go. The hype is definitely at 11 for me. Star Wars MCU OG says, hey everyone, hope you guys are having a good night. Ready for another good episode. Me too, man. And don't worry, we're definitely going to be talking about the Bad Batch because there's a Bad Batch episode dropping tonight as well. And stuff is getting crazy here in the back half of the Bad Batch. I think some really fun stuff is going down in these last, what are we on, 3-4 episodes? It's a fun time to be a Star Wars fan, man. That's what I like to say. CT0420 says, I can't believe we saw the Mythosaur. Me neither, man. I had heard some leaks about it a long time ago, and even now it seems unreal that we got our first glimpse of the Mythosaur, and I'm thinking tonight we're going to continue that. I was hanging out with Star Wars Obsession earlier tonight, and he didn't think that we were going to, dive further into the Mythosaur right away. But I think we might. I think we might start off with a bang in tonight's episode. We didn't think that we would be going to Mandalore this early in the season. Or at least I don't think a lot of us did. Now that we're already here, we already saw the Mythosaur at the end of the last episode. I think it comes back up and it's fully awakened now. It's going to go see Din Djarin and Bo-Katan, the two that awoken it, going into the living waters. You know what I mean? Disturbing its slumber. And I think they're gonna try to fight it, thinking that they have to defend themselves. This is a creature of Mandalorian myth. You know what I mean? It's literally a myth, the Mythosaur. It's real though, and you could tell that Bo-Katan, even with her mask on and everything, she's terrified. She's like, oh my god, I thought that there was nothing special about these waters, but holy crap, that's a Mythosaur. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of making a believer out of her as well. So yeah, not a myth anymore, right? CT0420, definitely not a myth anymore. And so I think tonight the two of them are going to defend themselves against it. And I would love more than anything if the poetry of Star Wars continues to rhyme. And just like how Grogu used the Force to help Din Djarin defeat the Mudhorn back at season 1, or when he put the Rancor to sleep in the Book of Boba Fett, I think Grogu is going to use the Force to connect with the Mythosaur and be the first Jedi Mandalorian to do so since Tar Vizsla back when he was the ruler of Mandalore and when he created the Darksaber. But I think it's possible that Bo-Katan is still going to claim or ride the mythosaur. I think she might end up being the one at the end of the season that takes it for claim. I talked about in Obsession's channel how it'd be cool if, you know, now that Din Djarin and Bo-Katan have seen the minds of, or what's down there in the living waters, and they know that Mandalore is inhabitable after all, Din Djarin ends up going to his clan, or, you know, the children of the watch this episode, and, you know, brings Bo-Katan to tell them, like, this is my proof that I bathed in the mines of Mandalore. Heck, Bo-Katan herself bathed in the mines of Mandalore. Maybe they would even consider her redeemed. But I think they're going to tell the Din Djarin's cult, I guess you could say, the children of the watch, that Mandalore is inhabitable. Like, we can breathe, we can go to the surface. It's not as cursed as we thought. You know what I mean? Like, it's definitely dinked up, but there's a mythosaur there, and that's gonna get all of them going, yo, we got to unite the Mandalorians, bring them together, like Bo-Katan was even talking about this past episode. And maybe we'll start to see that for the first time in who knows how long. The Mandalorians will actually gel together and try to do what's best for their people. So I'm hoping that's kind of what we see here tonight. And I would love, more than anything other than Grogu, you know, connecting with the mythosaur, I would love if the Mandalorian people continue to, like, they go to Mandalore now. They see that their planet isn't cursed, and they see the mythosaur. And I would love if the mythosaur is almost like that sword in the stone thing, where everybody tries to pull up the sword and, you know, see if they're worthy. I would love if that's like translates where everyone thinks that they can ride the mythosaur and claim Mandalore for themselves, kind of like with the Darksaber. But, you know, if you are the one that connects with the mythosaur, you're the ruler, kind of thing. I would love if that's the case. I don't know if it's actually going to be like that. It's just fun little speculation there. But what do we think in the chat? Yo, Darth Weapon, it's good to see you. Ashhammer says it's no longer a mythosaur anymore. It's just an Osaur. You're not wrong. It's a confirmed-osaur. Ashhammer also says, I just want Din to ask Bo to teach him how to use the saber. Me freaking too, man. So I didn't have time to finish all of my videos that I'm working on, or my shorts right now. One of them was about Grogu, you know, connecting with the mythosaur. We'll see if I have time to finish it. I probably won't. But one of my other ones was about Din Djarin learning how to wield the Darksaber. And if Bo-Katan, you know, takes this mythosaur thing and she's like, yeah, dude, I could teach you how to use that thing. Like, I would love if Bo-Katan teaches Din how to use the Darksaber. But what would be even cooler is if, because Din Djarin and Bo-Katan have this connection to Ahsoka, she's like, dude, Ahsoka's a Jedi. This is, sure, it's a Mandalorian weapon, but it was a Mandalorian Jedi. You should go ask her how to learn how to wield this thing. Like, it took me a while to use it, or however Bo-Katan, you know, she seems like she's pretty cool with it. It almost seems like there's an internal conflict within Din that makes him fight against the Blaine, similar to what we see with Sabine Wren in Star Wars Rebels. She kind of had an internal conflict, feeling like she let down the Mandalorian culture or the people with a weapon that she created for the Empire. And Din Djarin is kind of in a similar spot. He feels like he let down the Mandalorian people or his creed by taking off his helmet. I don't think he feels worthy of using the blade, or even like he really wants the responsibility that comes with it, which is why he fights against it. Let me go up a little bit. Need some like water, man. Alright, where was I? I'm excited for both Mando 3 and the Bad Batch, says Don Clatterman. Me too. They're gonna be freaking awesome tonight, man. I can't wait. I'm gonna get some coffee in me. Not that I really need it, but we're gonna have a fun night. Ashhammer says I gotta be up at 5:30, so I'm not gonna watch Bad Batch tonight. I feel you, man. I feel you. It's rough at getting 2 episodes a night, but it's so dang fun. It's fun getting all this Star Wars, man. It's awesome. I'm busy photobombing Sheiv's Mando channel and the Discord server. Do it, Dawn. Do it. I love your photos with all your minifigs. It's awesome. I guess are they minifigs? Are they just figs? Minifigs are like the Lego ones, right? I might have misspoke there, but I love your figures, Dawn, and how you recreate the scenes. It's so freaking cool. Go check out that stuff in our Discord. Shout out to you, Dawn. Timothy says, Gone good. Yes, of course. He also says, smash that like if you hype. Do it. Yes, of course. We are all very, very hyped indeed. Just Fernie, yo, what up? Good to see you in the chat, my man. I hope you're doing well. Ashhammer says the armor was wrong about everything. Mostly. Yeah, mostly. She definitely is. She seems like she's really been talking out of her, you know what I mean? CT0420 says Bo just needs to be the ruler, so she isn't unbalanced even while being emo Bo. No, I don't think she's ever been unbalanced. You know what I mean? Bo-Katan knows who she is, I think. You know what I mean? Like, even back when her sister was the pacifist and she was part of Death Watch, she knew who she was. You know what I mean? She's always been a little bit of a tricky dicky kind of thing. I don't know if I said that right even, but one of my favorite things about Bo-Katan so far in this season in particular, though, is the fact that she almost has adopted her sister's pacifist ways. Not quite, because she's obviously still a warrior. She's, you know, she says to Grogu, like, did you think your dad was the only Mandalorian? Like, she's a freaking badass. But she also is like, you know, it's so sad to see what our people did to this planet before it was even glassed and destroyed by the Empire. We had been destroying it for years. You know, all these civil wars left and right, people fighting over the Darksaber and all this, you know, Mandalorian civil war. And no one ever really tried to unite them. You know what I mean? We were stronger together and we never even tried to be together is what Bo-Katan was basically trying to say. Like, there was constant civil war. I think she's at a point where she isn't quite the pacifist her sister is, but she's kind of adopted some of those ideals where they need to, you know, make Mandalore stronger by uniting the people instead of dividing them. My bad for punching the mic. Timothy says, I just want them to explain why it was okay for Sabine to just give her the Darksaber in Rebels. I think that's like where the curse even maybe started. I don't understand the whole curse thing. It seems like something the armorer kind of made up, right? I don't think there's really a problem with anybody giving you the Darksaber. I don't think there's inherently a problem. I think there's like tales and maybe like myths behind doing that, as maybe there's been stuff in the past, but you know, I think it's more just that it maybe brings a curse. You know, is what they try to say. And of course, look what happened when Bo did get the Darksaber. But I don't know if there's anything inherently that's actually like bad about it. Like, I think it's more just superstition and what they believe. You know what I mean? So, to your point, like, why is it okay for Sabine to just give her the Darksaber? Because why not? Like, Sabine didn't want it. She thought that Bo-Katan, who used to fight alongside her mother during the Clone Wars, or during the end of the Clone Wars, is kind of just, you know, she's this awesome figure that was the sister of the Duchess, probably the rightful ruler in Sabine's eyes. She really looked up to Bo-Katan. You could even tell, like, she, you know, I think her mom might have been a night owl back in the day, or one of the people that fought alongside Bo-Katan. And for Ursa Wren to have this high respect to be able to work alongside and fight alongside Bo-Katan, she definitely has some high respect in Sabine's eyes. So Sabine kind of just gives it to her. Tim says, I think Bo believes it's cursed now because she won't take it unless she gets it in a fight. I don't think Bo even believes that, though. That's the thing. I don't think Bo herself believes that it's cursed. I think she just thinks that if she gets the saber and is given it to her again, like it was when Sabine gave it to her, that the people or the Mandalorian people are not gonna follow her because they're just like, someone gave it to you again. You didn't win it by creed. You know, it's not necessarily Bo, I think, that believes that. I think Bo is at balance and at peace with herself. To your point, where she was wielding the Darksaber, no problem. Like, it belonged to her. But of course, the Mandalorian people wouldn't see it that way. And that's where the true issue lies. What is we saying in the chat, though? Rias, welcome in. I am a mother. Thank you for letting me know. I'm glad you're a mother. That's wonderful. You were the chosen one. You were, Anakin, and you have failed us. Ashhammer says, nah, Adam Hunter, because Bo doesn't believe that any non-Mandalorian has a claim to the saber. Also, the creator didn't challenge Din. It just trapped him. Yes, Bo would definitely not believe that any non-Mandalorian has a claim. We saw that with Darth Maul when he defeated Pre Vizsla, right? Yeah, when Maul defeated Pre Vizsla, who was the former owner of the Darksaber, he became the next like leader of the Death Watch, and he became he claimed the Darksaber for himself, but Bo did not recognize that rule. Bo did not. She was like, he's not a Mandalorian. He was just trying to get our power, and Vizsla fell straight into his trap. Yeesh. You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't even be surprised if Bo is actually kind of cool with like Pre Vizsla and some of the people that we see hanging around Din Djarin and his little cult. Like, they probably were all friends back in the Death Watch days, you know what I mean? Or they all knew of each other. And it'll be cool to see if that kind of is expanded upon tonight in tonight's episodes. That would be really cool to me. What's the joke, Baby Yoda? What did you say? EA? EA is a joke. Ashhammer says, Tim, I think they allowed it, but then since she couldn't keep it, that's why she feels she needs to earn it now to prove she deserves it, but it belongs with Din. It does, I think, at least at this point. I mean, the Darksaber looks like it belongs to Din Djarin, you know what I mean? Like, it looks so badass when he's wielding it, even if he can't fully wield it. I just want them to bring up Bo failing. Yeah, I feel like the armorer does that every week. She's like, Bo-Katan is a cautionary tale. She sucks. She ruined our people. And then Bo-Katan on the other side's like, your cult ruined everything, and the factions before it destroyed our people way before. It's like, dude, I don't think either of you guys are necessarily the problem. I think it's just the years of Mandalorian Civil War that's the problem. You know what I mean? Talented Mr. Griffin says probably one reason why the Jedi wanted to keep the Darksaber. You don't need the Force to wield it, and maybe they foresaw what it would do to Mandalore. Interesting thought. I'm sure maybe that's even why Tar Vizsla maybe left it with the Jedi. We don't know exactly what happened to the Darksaber or its true origin. We know like a brief history of it, which maybe they want to keep that all like a little mysterious behind the past of the Darksaber. But I've been saying lately, Lucasfilm, please make a Tar Vizsla game. Please. I want to see Tar Vizsla rising through the Mandalorian culture, maybe even some flashbacks to his childhood. You know, the past of the Vizsla clan, him creating the saber, uniting all of Mandalore together. I want that to be in a video game. Please, that would be so cool. But like I'm saying, I would love if they did a little bit of the fact that they don't need to wield it. You know, all these other Vizsla people have wielded the saber to try and take it. The Jedi maybe foreseeing it. I think that would be cool. That would definitely be cool if they foresaw this and they tried to keep it, or maybe even Tar Vizsla foresaw it and tried to keep it with the Jedi so that it wouldn't happen, you know? Tim says, how did a little worm like Gideon get it? I don't know, right? That's a good question. He probably had to beat someone in battle or steal it from him, you know? Maybe that's the whole thing, is that Bo-Katan technically would be the owner of it still, and he's not a I don't think Moff Gideon's a Mandalorian. So him taking the saber, like, she kind of lost it, but you know, now it's Din Djarin's. I don't know how it really works, you know. Don Cotterman says, I love how my boys here in Obsession Server understand these characters and aren't afraid of women's. Heck nah, it's so tiresome on some channels. No, never. Of course. Ashhammer says maybe Moff Gideon stole it or challenged her and she felt pressured to accept it and prove to her people that she deserves it. Yeah, I think so too. I honestly, you know, I'm down for some Bo-Katan redemption. Like, I'm afraid she's gonna stab Din in the back, because that's just kind of her history. She's always been a little bit of a shady character. She used to be part of Death Watch, but Bo-Katan's really come around, and I love her and Katie Sackhoff's portrayal of her. Bo-Katan has really become a really cool character. I would love for her to be redeemed to be the rightful ruler of Mandalore still at this time period, at least for now, I would love to see her get another shot at it, and for us to actually get a glimpse of what that is. You know what I mean? Alright, OG says, Tim, I wanted to see that clown get the D. Also, Pre-Vizsla in Maul is a favorite savory battle of mine. Dude, it's definitely a pretty freaking cool fight. Baby Yoda says, try saying clock without your tongue. Clock. Clock. Ah. You got me. that was pretty funny. Don K says, did you watch Clone Wars and Rebels? This woman has been through the B+ forever. She has. She's been through a lot. She's lost her sister. She's lost her people. She's lost her people again. She's been through a lot. She's been through a lot. Tim says you intimidate, imitate Bo-Katan is a cautionary tale. Bo-Katan was a cautionary tale. I can't even do it now. You made me think about it too much. Bo is a badass just like the rest of the badasses, just like her. Definitely, man. There's some badass women in Star Wars, and I'm here for it. It's some cool stuff. Alright, so let's get into our next little portion of the stream, because I wanted to watch some of these trailers back and get some sort of like a general idea of what we haven't seen so far in the trailers. So let's pull this up for you guys. Let me see if I can do this here. Alright, so make sure to subscribe to the channel. All of a sudden the music's working again, or it's much louder now, so I don't know why the transition restarts the music. Alright, let me turn that down and let's watch this together. Hopefully the audio comes through. If it doesn't, then I'm just going to do audio commentary anyway. But starting off, this is the official trailer for The Mandalorian Season 3. Quite old by now. I mean, it's been out over a month now at this point. So let's check it out. Almost looks like it's starting off in that planet that we see in the very beginning. It looks like Lake Powell. You guys probably can't even hear this, but I wonder. Okay. Can you guys hear that? I think you can. I don't know.
Being a Mandalorian is not just learning about how to fight.
Saw that already.
You also have to know how to navigate the galaxy. That way.
Okay, that's the first time we go to Navarro, so we've seen that. That's when they go to Mandalore. Alright, the audio's working. Let's go. Garrett, welcome into the chat.
I'm going to Mandalore.
I'll check out your chat in a second. Hold on.
Be forgiven for my
So have we seen all of this so far? Let me go back a little bit. Think we saw, yeah, we've seen pretty much all of this, right? Don't play too much. I think the official trailer is fine. It's fair game, I think. Let me turn it down a little bit though too. We've seen all of this footage so far from this trailer.
This is the way.
Damn.
There's something dangerous happening.
Okay, so this is where we haven't seen trailer footage so far. Of the official trailer footage, this is the first little portion that we haven't seen. So I want to put some extra emphasis on this. This is with Carson Teva talking about kind of the stuff that's going on in the outer regions of the galaxy and the cloning, of course, from last season. There's something dangerous happening out there.
And by the time
We see Dr. Pershing, and a lot of fans, we've been kind of confused. Is this Coruscant? Is this Hosnian Prime? Kind of looks like it's Hosnian Prime to me, and I would love if it is, because we kind of can get some more lore behind that as we kind of get closer and closer to the sequel era kind of the, you know, this is the beginnings of the sequel era, guys. So now that we're getting closer to it and we're seeing all this stuff, could we actually get, you know, Hosnian Prime being the capital of the New Republic like it should be starting at this time period? Is that where we're seeing Pershing? Again, back in episode 1, we heard that Moff Gideon was at this war tribunal, so maybe this war tribunal is being held here on Hosnian Prime, or, you know, if it is Coruscant, maybe it's being held there, but I think, you know, Pershing maybe is even getting his own little thing. And my big theory for what could be happening in this Moff Gideon or Pershing kind of scene that we're getting here on, you know, whether it's Coruscant or Hazian Prime, I think we could get our first glimpse at a close to perfected Snoke, or like our first iteration of Snoke. If you guys remember back to season 2, around the midway point, we had an episode where Mando goes to Navarro and sees some of the cloning that's been going on since they took Grogu's blood back in season 1. Well, in season 2, Grogu was captured again at the end of the season, and Moff Gideon took Grogu's blood. He even tells Mando, like, I only wanted his blood. You know, you can have him back. You know, he's trying to, you know, play with him kind of thing. But he took Grogu's blood back in season 2, and while Moff Gideon did get captured, I think that they were still able to use that blood to maybe clone further. And if we saw something like Snoke end up like breaking out Moff Gideon or helping out Pershing in them, trying to keep his cloners alive or maybe even kill the cloners, like that would be so cool. If, just like Palpatine always used to, you know, back in the Senate when Dooku would blow up and be a big projection during the Clone Wars, or Palpatine himself would do it, or whatever the case was, you know what I mean? Like, I think it would be so cool to have that kind of prominent Snoke, like here for the first time, showing up on the like the new courts of the New Republic system. Like, to me, that would be crazy scene for them to throw in, and I'm hoping that we can maybe get that tonight, since this is some of the only footage we haven't seen.
And by the time it becomes big enough for you to act, it'll be too late.
Okay, another scene we haven't quite seen yet is these two coming up here with Grogu's Order 66 flashback, maybe getting the continuation of that. I would love for that to be in tonight's episode. And then this looks, I don't know if this is Mandalore or what planet this is on, but this looks like it could be Bo-Katan's ship being chased by the new, or the remnants of the Empire. Maybe it's even Kalevala, the castle planet that she's on. That's kind of what it looks like, right? And then I don't think we've seen this droid bar quite yet either here at the end of this trailer. And I definitely think that this is going to play a part in Mando trying to find IG-11's memory circuit, or whatever it was called back in the first 2 episodes. I think he's going to continue to find his search. I don't know if this will be in tonight's episode or next week's. But I do think that everything we've seen in the footage so far of this trailer tonight, I think that we could be getting it soon. Another scene we haven't seen is the Mandalorian clans here going to rescue some of the people on Navarro. You can see what looks like the destroyed IG-11 statue there on the right side. A lot of footage we actually haven't seen still, even if most of the first half was in those first 2 episodes. That even looked like Vane dying or getting knocked out, you know what I mean? Right? And the Anzellans again. So maybe we'll see them again this week too. And then to cap it off, we did see this footage last week. So still a lot of footage to look forward to tonight. Let's head back into the lair because I have some theories to go through and to speculate with you guys. So let's do it. How do we feel after watching that trailer footage again? It was definitely exciting for me. I'm glad that you guys could actually hear some of it. Garrett Isaacs, it's good to see you in the chat again, my man. He says, yo, we actually met up at Celebration last year. I haven't been keeping up with Star Wars lately, but I'm back in the game now with Mando and Bad Batch. I'm glad to see you're still at it and growing the channel, my guy. Dude, Garrett, it's awesome to see you in the chat too. It's a fun time to be a fan, man, and I'm glad you're getting back into it because it's the perfect time to. I mean, Ahsoka's around the corner, coming within the next like 3 to 6 months, in my opinion. Like, you know, Celebration this year is around the corner. Unfortunately, I'm not probably going to be able to go to that, although, you know, I saw some of the Funkos that are going to be there. There's a Jar Jar Binks Funko, and I almost want to buy Celebration tickets just to go buy that Funko. No, but it's definitely an exciting time, man, and thank you for being here, Garrett Isaacs. It's dope to see you in the chat. I'm happy to be here and continuing to make content, man. With Star Wars, it's been a blast of a time. It always gives me some fun content to talk about with you guys. So I'm definitely going to continue to try and make content more and continue to grow the channel, man. It's an awesome time. All right, where are we? Scaredy man, like a cartoon character, is going to hurt them. I can hear the OPS crying in the baby voice. Right, Don? Geek Ledger says, my cousin just suggested that Jon Favreau is going to self-insert himself like he did in the Mandalorian movies. Like, just imagine. The season ends with Paz Vizsla taking off the taking the Mandalore throne. That would be dope, man. In a way, he kind of already has. Jon Favreau likes to intertwine himself into most of the projects that he's worked on. Whether it was back in Elf, he was the Doctor in the Elf movie. He is Happy Hogan throughout the Marvel Cinematic Universe. He has a way of doing that, you know. But even back in the day when he worked on Clone Wars with Dave Filoni, I mean, he was kind of just hired to do the voice of Pre Vizsla, but now we see him as the voice of Paz Vizsla. To your point, and yeah, there was a figure recently released of Paz Vizsla with Jon Favreau's likeness, with his face and everything. So maybe it is going to be Jon Favreau under that helmet. Maybe it has been all along, other than maybe some stunts. I don't know. But it would be dope to see Paz Vizsla take off his helmet, and maybe that's kind of the progression of all of these Mandalorian characters. Is Paz Vizsla, and you know, goes from calling Din an apostate and telling him to leave apostate, like, not liking him because he's the Darksaber owner and all this stuff. They've always had a little bit of beef since season 1. But I would love if Jon Favreau's character kind of goes full circle, and with his foundling now, he understands why Din maybe took off his helmet, and he takes off his helmet by the end of the season 2. I don't think he's actually going to take the throne. I think those Vizsla guys are kind of done. But I would love to see him, or potentially his foundling son, try to, claim the Darksaber for themselves, as they are members of Clan Vizsla, the creator of the Darksaber. Where are we in the chat? Sabersmith says, one shot in the beginning we didn't see Din coming out of the cave. I guess we haven't seen Din come out of the cave yet, have we? Or no, we didn't, right? So there you go. I didn't even notice that. Just don't want you to get copyrighted. Never, dog. Never. I know, you're just looking out for me. Adam Hunter says, I kind of hope that the last episode mentions Thrawn. Me too, man. I've had a theory for a long time that Thrawn could potentially be in the season. I don't know if he will be. A post-credit scene would be more than welcome with Ahsoka around the corner this year. Do it. Spartan Joker says, I name my character Revan when I play KOTOR just to F with the game. Revan. That's pretty funny. The Sabersmith says, read that one, my bad. Mando Season 3 is actually Rebels 2.0, says CT0420. Maybe, with the Purgle back in Episode 1, Sabine maybe coming this season, Thrawn. You might be onto something there. I think Ahsoka's going to be more of a Rebels 2.0, but I would love it if they start intertwining all of that stuff here in Mandalorian Season 3. It would be definitely make my life. Dan the man, what up, my dude? He says, gotta pick up my roommate when I get back. It is time, my friends. Let's go. We are so close, Dan the man. I cannot wait. CT0420 mentioned, hell, show me my boy Grand Admiral Thrawn. Do it. Show him to us. Yeah, dude, I know me and you, CT0420, we've done our homework with Thrawn. We read all of the canon books. We're excited to get him in live action. I bought the $100 Thrawn pop back in the day. It was the more rare, celebration one that they had a long time ago. Bought that thing for like $100 back in the day. I was like, this is the most expensive pop I'll ever buy. You know what I mean? That was a long time ago. It was the Rebels one, and I think it's worth like $500 now. Because Thrawn is, the hype of Thrawn coming back is real, man. The hype is real. Adam Hunter says, I really want Thrawn to start a Cold War with the New Republic, rearming the Imperial remnants. Dude, I don't know how attached he's going to be to the Imperial remnants, having blasted off into, the Chiss space, most likely, or wherever him and Ezra went with the Purgle. This new area of space we maybe don't even know about yet. But Thrawn, I love the fact that he blasted off into there, because he probably doesn't have too much of a connection with the Imperial Remnant. However, we do know he's building up a fleet You know, Thrawn's fleet is what Ahsoka was looking for when she apprehended the magistrate back in season 2. So maybe that's even going to be continued. The fact that Thrawn was name dropped in season 2 of The Mandalorian makes me think it's a foreshadow that maybe in season 3 we're going to get our first live action look at him. It would be awesome. I will say recently, Lars Mikkelsen, who did the voice of Grand Admiral Thrawn in Star Wars Rebels, came out and said that Lucasfilm has never approached him about it, and you know, it's probably another actor. I kind of think he's lying. I think he's yanking our chain. Who knows? Because I mean, even if he was, he wouldn't be legally allowed to tell us. So, of course, he would lie if he is Grand Admiral Thrawn. I think he would be the perfect Grand Admiral Thrawn in live action. So, hoping that it's Lars Mikkelsen still, and I'm hoping that he's pulling out that inner Thrawn to kind of deceive and lie to us. You know what I mean? It would be pretty brilliant. David Morrow, good to see you in the chat. Go Grogu, Patu. I love it. Chilling in the basement. Good to see you, my man. Still looking as blinkered as I actually am. I guess so. And yes, this is on the new PC, Mateo. My lighting is a little wonky donkey as of right now, and I'm trying to fix it, to be honest. I'm still getting used to the computer. I had to change all of my scenes on Streamlabs, like move it all over from the laptop to the desktop now, and still getting, working out the kinks. Yo, Star Wars Obsession, it's good to see you in the chat, my man. I hope you're having a fantastic night, and I hope you're excited for Mandalorian Season 3, Episode 3. Geek Ledger says, I just realized we didn't get a single Mandalorian in the new sequel trilogy or its related media. None in Resistance, the sequel books, the movies, not a single one. Geek Ledger, you're onto something. I've noticed that too, and I think that there might be a reason. I think the Mandalorians have maybe left this part of the galaxy, or they were off doing their own thing, fighting amongst themselves as they always do. They tend to do that. I love reading all the canon books. Brandon Alvarado, they are pretty damn good. I'm a canon junkie myself. I do have an affinity for some of the EU material and some of the Legends material. I haven't read too much of it. I haven't got too far into the EU stuff. A lot of my EU knowledge comes from other YouTubers, so I'm a canon junkie myself. I love some of the canon books. I love what they're doing with the Star Wars canon, and I'm excited to see where Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau take us in the Mandalorian universe. It's such a fun aspect and time frame of Star Wars, man. He's probably lying, says Adam Hunter. He probably is, man. I would love to see Lars Mikkelsen playing Thrawn. Star Wars MCU OG says, just give me a shot of Thrawn on the observation deck of a Star Destroyer to end the season. Yes, please. Kylie says it's like Andrew Garfield, I think. Maybe, with him denying about being Spider-Man in No Way Home, right? Spoilers. Geek Ledger says, Ahsoka theory. Thrawn is accepted back into the Chiss Ascendancy, and he leads a fleet into the core, and he attacks the New Republic to try and found a Chiss empire throughout the galaxy. I like where your head's at, Geek Ledger. I don't know if you've read any of the canon novels, and it makes, based on what you say there, I don't know if you have. So, let me explain something to you real quick. Thrawn was never really kicked out of the Chiss Ascendancy. That's how it was made to look back in the old EU Thrawn novels, and I believe in even the first trilogy of Thrawn novels, the Thrawn treason and Thrawn alliances and Thrawn treason. That trilogy kind of makes it out to that Thrawn is I guess you could say, like he did something to his people, is what it's made out to be, where he was kind of extradited or kicked out of the Chiss Ascendancy, and that's why he joins up with the Empire. But what really happened, that you find out at the end of the prequel Thrawn trilogy books, I guess you could say, is that some of the higher ups and most important people within the Chiss Ascendancy and Thrawn himself planned for him to basically ally himself with the Empire. And so he was kicked out of the Chiss Ascendancy to basically go make friends with the Empire and gain the trust of the Emperor to use his help to fight against the Grisk threat. The biggest threat to the Chiss Ascendancy and the chaos or the unknown regions that the Chiss Ascendancy resides. Which I know, I'm getting real deep with the lore right here with all this Thrawn stuff. But if they continue basically what that adaptation is with Timothy Zahn's books and everything, I imagine that we're going to get some stuff of that. Of Thrawn trying to basically assemble a force to protect his Chiss Ascendancy and to kind of, you know, fight against them. And maybe he's even going to explain that to our heroes at some point. Like, I know I seem like this terrible dude and I'm doing this awful stuff throughout the galaxy, but it's because there's a bigger threat out there. And I'm not saying Thrawn isn't an evil guy, because he does some evil stuff. You know what I mean? Like, he's kind of an anti-hero that is willing to get his hands as dirty as possible to get the job done. You know what I mean? That's what Thrawn really is, kind of, in a lot of ways. But yeah, I'm going on a whole Thrawn rant now, but we gotta get going with the stream. I gotta see what you guys are saying in the chat. You got a new toy? What you get? Says chilling in the basement. Well, I got a new PC. I don't even know how to explain it exactly, but the specs are not bad. It's a big upgrade on the 8 gig RAM laptop, Mac laptop that I used to have, or that I have. You know what I mean? This bad boy has a lot more power, and I'll be able to do some fun stuff. Hopefully, I won't have as much lag on the channel. Is the real hope here. I'm a fiend, says Garrett Isaacs. Me too, man. Artistax show is crap. Oh man, I disagree with you. Oh, I'm sorry, Artistax. I'm gonna put you in timeout because I disagree. Actually, oh, I hit him. That's even worse. Let me just get out of here with your Mandalorian hate. I think episode 3 might be the best of the show so far. So take that. Saber Smith says, I think tonight we'll see Dr. Pershing. Me too. I think that's a good theory. KG says, oh sweet, I totally forgot I was gifted a membership. Welcome to the dark side, KG. Welcome to the Acolytes. I am so happy that you were gifted a membership. Make sure to thank Lord Vito in the chat if you see him. Garrett Isaac says the Ascendancy trilogy is a universe within a universe. It really is, in a way. I wouldn't doubt if Dave Filoni, knowing how he kind of likes to contradict canon books and novels, if he changes it up a little bit. But I mean, this is Timothy Zahn we're freaking talking about. You know what I mean? I think Timothy Zahn's Thrawn books are going to be treated as kind of the Thrawn canon Bible, I guess you could say, of what to expect for Thrawn in the canon, in live action canon or animated canon. Yeah, you going back to on your PS5 anytime? Kylie, I will be going back on the PS5 every now and then, but even then, if I do some gaming streams, whether it's on the PC, which trust me, I downloaded some games. I actually just downloaded Jedi Fallen Order earlier. Finally, I downloaded Jedi Fallen Order during the Obsession stream that we were doing earlier, so I might play that on my second channel, go through it again before the new game comes out, because I already played through Jedi Fallen Order. We have a whole playlist on the channel if you guys want to see my playthrough it. I kind of call it Jedi Falling Order because you fall through the floor so much in that game. But I might play through it again over on our second channel at Sheiv the Wise on YouTube. So we're gonna do some fun stuff with the PC, man. I'm excited by it. Adam Hunter says, I really need to read the Thrawn trilogy. What are they called? So we have Thrawn is the first book, which is an incredible book. It covers his introduction to the Empire. I've been trying to cover a lot of the stuff that's in that book on some videos I've been editing for like 2 years at this point. But dude, there's some really good stuff in that first Thrawn book. The second one is Thrawn Alliances, or Thrawn Alliances, I believe, is the second book of that trilogy, and then Thrawn Treason. The first book is all about Thrawn and his introduction to the Empire, him kind of gaining the respect of Emperor Palpatine. The second book is about Darth Vader and Thrawn and kind of the relationship the two of them have, because believe it or not, Thrawn actually knew Anakin Skywalker at one point during the Clone Wars. So that's kind of a big part of that second Thrawn Alliances book. And then Thrawn Treason takes place right before the end of Rebels, right before it off with the Purgles, actually. It's literally like the book takes place literally right before that. which is, again, another reason why I think those books are going to actually be really close to the canon Bible of Thrawn. You know what I mean? Like, those books are telling us the truth. It's not something that Dave Filoni is likely going to retcon. However, the final book, Thrawn Treason, takes place right before the finale of Star Wars Rebels, and it kind of gives us an explanation as to what Thrawn's thoughts are during that time period. Gives us a little bit of Rogue One context a little bit here. I mean, the whole Thrawn trilogy of books, beautiful. I love all three of them. And then we have the prequels to those, which are the Thrawn Ascendancy novels, and I can't even name the whole. I think the first one's Thrawn Ascendancy, Chaos Rising, Thrawn Ascendancy, something. I don't know. Look it up, because you'll find the trilogies. There's 2 trilogies, those basically a whole saga of Thrawn books now that are canon, and establish his life from the time he was inducted into the Chiss Imperial Navy to the time that he gets blasted off in the Purgles. That's literally the span of these 6 books. They're fantastic. So go read them. That's enough Thrawn talk, though. I'm sure you guys in the chat are... Yeah, Timothy Zahn is an absolute legend for sure, Brandon Alvarado. Tim, much love, man. Adam Hunter says, I really need to read the Thrawn trilogy of books. Read the books. They're worth it if you're a fan of Thrawn. They really are, CT. You going back and forth. I know of 6 books, but I don't know the order, if I'm being honest. The order is the release order for them, except reverse. So like the release order for the first trilogy is how that trilogy starts, and the release order for the Ascendancy trilogy is the order that those go. So it's Ascendancy books 1, 2, and 3, and then Thrawn books 1, 2, and 3, and that's how the order of it goes. If you read the books, you'll understand. They kind of explain it to you. You can look it up too. The internet's a fantastic tool. KG says, it was gifted last week. Just seeing it again. Oh, dude, I love finding $20 randomly in your pocket, right? Jedi Mike says episode 3 will have a lot to live up to after last week, especially with the delicious Bad Batch storyline too. I know, right? And it's going to be awesome though. I love Star Wars too, chilling. It's so good. But yeah, dude, it was funny last week how we got kind of this happy... I guess it wasn't even happy, because it was a kind of a tragic episode of The Mandalorian, going back to Mandalore, seeing how destroyed it was. But it was kind of a fun episode, you know, seeing Grogu rescue Din and run around using the Force and everything. It was a really cool episode, and seeing the Mythosaur at the end, of course, too. So they do have some big shoes to fill after that episode, but I think it'll definitely be filled in a 56-minute runtime. You know what I mean? There's a lot to get through in this episode. Sheiv the Librarian. I suppose when it comes to Star Wars books, that's like the only kind of books I really own. I need to get more though. That's the other thing. Geek Ledger says, that's my thinking. Ahsoka season 1 or 2 ends with Thrawn captured by the Rebels crew and saying, something is coming from beyond what is known. Something more powerful than even the Force. I would love that, man. Thrawn does know a little bit about the Force. It's always been a mystery to him, but I would love for him to be able to say that to them, or need their help. Maybe he's even enlisted with Ezra's help to stop the Grist threat as well. That would be kind of cool. Ashhammer says, I think that they explained the lack of Mandalorians in the sequels already. Mando says, we are cut off from communication with anyone while on Mandalore, so maybe every Mandalorian was on Mandalore. We talked about that in yesterday's little stream, talking about the episodes too, and my whole Grogu theory, right? So I definitely agree, man. I think that it could be that the Mandalorian peoples have remade Mandalore back to the home that they know and love. Like, I think throughout the season they could start to rebuild their Mandalorian world, but you know, the fact that the magnetic fields couldn't allow communication, all this stuff was going on with the planet, I think it almost makes it a better hiding place. Like, we see all these storms. Din Djarin had to even fly through a storm to just get to the surface of the planet. I think it almost makes a better hiding spot for them in a way. It's kind of cool. Yes, Thrawn, Chaos Rising, and Greater Good and Lesser Evil are the Ascendancy trilogies in order. So Chaos Rising, Greater Good, and Lesser Evil. Which, that's the whole point of that trilogy of the Ascendancy novels, is that Thrawn, like, is always trying to help his people. He's trying to do the greater good to help the Chiss people. And then he ends up helping the Empire, the lesser evil of the Grisk, because to the Chiss, basically these Grisk people out there that are these terrible dudes doing this awful stuff in the galaxy. Basically, they're a threat to the Chiss people, and Thrawn allies himself with what he considers to be the lesser evil of this new empire that's taken over the former Republic. And that's why that book is titled Lesser Evil, is because by the end of it, he ends up choosing to side with the lesser evil to take down the Grisk. Yeah, those books are fantastic, man. Those are so good. The Philoniverse. Saber Smith says, let's see how my pup handles tonight. No running through a wall yet. Good. That's a good start. I know my girlfriend and our puppy likes to run into walls all the time. And I always say, like, she's probably going to get CTE with all the concussion she probably has, like, banging her head in the wall. Like, it's kind of a messed up thought, but she does it all the time. I'm like, Daisy, are you good? Dale Erdman says, I'm thinking I'm going to hit the showers before the show starts. Do it, my friend. A nice shower at this time of night is, or day, depending on where you are in the world. Definitely before the episode. It makes you feel cozy and ready for the episode. You know what I mean? Adam Hunter says, didn't Thrawn clone an evil clone of a Jedi? I believe in the EU he did something along those lines, so maybe we'll see him do something like that in Mandalorian Season 3. Ew, sleep is taking over. Later, peeps. Have a fun night. Steve Sarenka, I hope you enjoy your rest. Enjoy the episodes when you get to watch them. Much love for being here, and I hope you have a good one. Alright, where are we? Chilling, I've heard that. Blah, 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 blah. Let me see. Chilling in the basement says, don't get me wrong. Dave is the best hope for Star Wars. There is no other. He just does what he wants with his stories, and the written words be damned. I mean, you got a point, but I think he's definitely got some respect with Timothy Zahn, the two of them working together with Clone Wars, trying to bring back Thrawn in the best way possible. He collaborated a lot with Timothy Zahn back when he introduced Thrawn into Star Wars Rebels, and Timothy Zahn definitely took that into account when he was writing Lesser Evil and Greater Good and the whole Thrawn saga of books. You know what I mean? Like, they all definitely fit into the Rebels timeline. Alright, where am I now? Let's get it going here. We've been talking a lot about The Mandalorian, and I definitely think we're going to have a fun night. So if you guys have any last predictions for The Mandalorian Season 3, Episode 3, Chapter 19 tonight, throw them into the chat. My final predictions. I really want to see Grogu use the Force on the Mythosaur. I can't get this theory out of my head, man, that, you know, back in the Book of Boba Fett, the armor tells us of the songs of eons past, foretelling that the Mythosaur will rise up and usher in a new age of Mandalore. Or for Mandalore, you know. We've seen the Mythosaur now. And maybe it's going to be Bo-Katan or maybe Boba Fett since he has the Mythosaur signet on him. Maybe it's going to be another character that ends up ushering in a new age for Mandalore. But with Grogu being the first Jedi Mandalorian, already having it foreshadowed that he uses beast control on all of these Force animals or animals that have a connection to the Force, whether it be the Mudhorn back in Season 1 using the Force to help Din Djarin defeat it, or the, you know, back in the Book of Boba Fett, the same show that this was brought up, using the Force on a Rancor to put it to sleep. You know, even having kind of a connection to the Purgle that we saw in Episode 1 of Season 3, where Grogu kind of saw them flying through hyperspace and having kind of a connection maybe to them like Ezra Bridger did back in Rebels. I think it's already kind of set up for Grogu to potentially be the one to make a Force connection with this Mythosaur. And how much sense would it make for Grogu to be the Mandalorian to usher in a new age of Mandalore? Like, to me, I can't get this thought out of my head that Grogu's going to become the prophesized one for the Mandalorians. I mean, he was even born the same year as Anakin Skywalker. You know what I mean? Like, it would just be beautiful to me. You know, the Mandalorians having, like, all these wars with the Jedi, or seeing kind of not seeing eye to eye with the Jedi, you know, literally having armor that's supposed to contradict the Jedi, to be able to defeat them, you know, all these gadgets and things. Having only one other Mandalorian Jedi to ever exist, and then, you know, the species that was once the leader of the Jedi Council for, you know, millennia of Yoda, now having one of the Yoda species become a Mandalorian and usher in a new age of Mandalore. I love it, man. It would be beautiful. All right, so let's get into the Bad Batch. Before we do, I'm gonna read your last comments on the Mandalorian here. Chilling in the basement. Wait, are you saying there's a reference to material? Did anyone tell Kathleen? I'm talking about in the canon trilogy, and yes, Kathleen was the one that said they're gonna make all of this stuff one big canon, and then they ended up contradicting themselves anyway. CT0420, his prediction for tonight is that Grogu will say some more Batu. I think we're going to get his first words. Dude, I'm here for it. If we get Grogu's first words, I want to hear him. I personally think it's going to be something along the lines of Dad or, you know, Din or something, you know. I would love for something like that to be Grogu's first words, but I don't know what it's going to be, and I'm here for it whenever he does say his first little words. Garnett Clark, welcome into the chat, says, I think Boba will teach Din how to ride the Mythosaur. That would be freaking cool. I mean, we had a name drop of the Mythosaur back in season 1, if you guys remember, when Din was trying to ride the blurgs that, Queel was trying to teach him how to ride the blurgs, and he was like, your ancestors rode the great Mythosaur. This should be no problem. You know what I mean? Like, so maybe we're going to have something like that with Boba learning how to ride the Rancor back in the Book of Boba Fett, maybe teaching him how to ride the Mythosaur, or maybe even Boba being the dude that knows how to ride the Rancor, having the Mythosaur as a signet. Maybe Boba rides the Rancor, or the Mythosaur. Baymax says, no indication that they have any plans to do Chiss Space or the Grisk in live action. I hope they don't just redo the Empire / First Order or generic pirates. Give us a galaxy-wide outside threat. Me freaking too, man. I want that real bad, Baymax. I want that too. That's why I'm hoping that they do something with the Grisk, and that's what Thrawn's up to in the chaos. I don't know though. Because that is my theory right now. My working theory is that Thrawn got blasted off into the chaos with Ezra and the Purgle. Which, again, the chaos is like the unknown regions for the Chiss that their space resides in. I have spoken. Grogu's first word is way. This is the way. Way. That would be funny. This is the bay. Yeah. Alright, work 5. See you guys later. See you later, talented Mr. Griffin, and thanks for hanging out with us. So, let's get into the Bad Batch tonight. Tonight's Bad Batch episode is Season 2, Episode 13, and I'm real excited for it, man. After last week's episode, my heart was absolutely crushed. They introduced us to a new clone. He was really cool. His name was Mayday. He reminded me a lot of Rex and all the old clones that we saw in the Clone Wars, and then the Empire does what they do to all the clones. They did them dirty. They did them real dirty. And they killed Mayday. Or, you know, the Empire didn't save Mayday, I guess. And man, was that a rough episode to watch last week. Especially after getting a hype Mando episode. It was like, whew. This really brought me down a few notches. I feel for my boy Crosshair. And I'm real worried for my boy Crosshair after last week. So what are you guys thinking for tonight's episode of Star Wars The Bad Batch? Tonight's episode is titled Pabu, which in another language translates roughly to maternal aunt, or like a mother aunt, or, you know, an aunt figure, which would be the sister of one of your parents. So my head when I hear Pabu or aunt is it kind of goes to Sid, or even Nala Se potentially, as those would be kind of aunt characters to our main character Omega. I honestly think it could be Sid this week. Next week's episode is titled Tipping Point. So I've been saying it all season and since season 1 of the Bad Batch, really. A lot of the times in Star Wars animation, they like to have double entendre meanings to their titles, or multiple meanings to the titles that they give the episodes. So for tonight's episode, Pabu, it's possible there could be a planet named Pabu. Maybe we're going to get a character named Pabu, or maybe we're going to see Nala Se and maybe even Sid too, since they're all kind of aunts, like, or they all fit the word Pabu for the title. I could see Sid being brought into it and having her send the Bad Batch on another mission, as the Bad Batch are slowly starting to really distrust Sid and the missions that she's been sending them on. I think tonight's could be a mission that ends up getting Omega captured, or something happens like that. We do know that the Empire is now after Omega, after we found out that Senator Tonway, is that who it is? Prime Minister? Is it Tonway? I forget who the Prime Minister's name is now. But the Prime Minister was alive. He was basically saying that if you want to get to Nala Se, the way to do it is through this clone that she had, this little girl. And I think the Empire is now on to both Omega and the Bad Batch, since the Empire also saw the Bad Batch leaving the scene of the Zillo Beast, and they were like, yo, we rounded up all these people to keep what was going down with the Zillo Beast quiet. What was that ship? We gotta go get that ship. So now the Bad Batch is not only after Omega, but they're also after the Bad Batch, or the Empire is after Omega and the Bad Batch. So it's a little scary for the Bad Batch's situation going into this week. And if they end up doing a job for Sid, I think it's going to be the last straw, where they're like, dude, stuff is going on. I'm really scary. Like the Empire is after us and you're not helping at all, Sid. And I think that we're going to break away from Sid finally, maybe in this episode or next episode, as next episode is titled Tipping Point. So maybe the Bad Batch is going to get to this tipping point where they're going to reach a point of no return with Sid. We're going to finally be done with the Sid side missions of the week, right? And of course, with the double entendre meanings, maybe tipping point is both the tipping point with Sid and the turning point of the show, where we find out what happened to Crosshair and the experiments that the Empire is now running on him on Mount Tantus. I think it's going to be a wild couple of weeks. So what is we thinking in the chat? How is we feeling? Baymax says, Sheiv, you're leading the predictions game. You got Crosshairs on your form for TVC Mac. Yeah, I'm scared. TVC Mackin's around the corner. I think he's only a point or two behind me. I've looked at the the sheets for tonight's episode, or the prediction sheets for tonight's episode, like 5 times, like shaking, like every choice is so important right now. Being the leader is scary, man. Made me so mad I could run through a wall, says Sabersmith. Are you good, man? I'm sorry. I feel you. That's what happened after last week's episode. Dude, me too. I feel you. Chilling in the basement says Grogu will mispronounce Batu as Booty. What about Batu? As in, Galaxy's Edge. He's going to be like, Batu, go to Galaxy's Edge. That'll be his first words. Grogu says the planet Batu's name, even if it was on accident, it was twice. Yeah, he did. I noticed too. I was like, they're really trying to push Batu, aren't they? Galaxy's Edge is a very fun place. R.I.P. to Mayday, indeed. Crosshair's fate is looking dark, says KG. I think it's already sealed. And I do think it's as dark of a fate as it could get. A lot of people were cheering when Crosshair shot his Imperial officer last week. Officer Doucheface. And I was definitely cheering right alongside you guys. I was like, yeah. But then, like, on the inside, I was going, what this means for Crosshair. He's done. It's too late for Crosshair. Like, he's already so far into the Empire. We've seen characters disappear left and right. Whether it was Hauser in season 1, the dude in the beginning of season 2 here in episode 3, when, even Cody. We haven't seen Cody since episode 3. He disappeared. What happened to Cody? Is he safe? Is he all right? And as soon as Crosshair fired that trigger, I knew his fate was sealed, man. Whatever the Empire is going to do to him, it's not going to be good stuff. I'm terrified for it. Afflict, what up in the chat? I hope you're doing well. What's up with you, my man? I'm doing pretty good. Small says, poking my head in to say hi before bed. Love you all except Jedi Mike. People born on the February 6th are sus. Oh, come on. Jedi Mike's a G, man. I know some people born on February 6th, too. And February is the best month to be born. Says the February baby. Nah, much love to you, though, Smalls. Thanks for popping in. And much love to you, Jedi Mike, as well. Sheiv's predictions about more Hemlock. Sheiv's predictions about 325. Hey, 325's good for baseball numbers. I'll take it. Like, if we're talking basketball, at least I'm shooting my shot. But if I'm 325 at this point, I'll take it. That's not bad. Afflict says, I don't think Cad Bane died. I think it would be cool if he worked under Thrawn. Dude, that would be really cool, actually. There could be something to that. You know, the beeping lights on Cad Bane's chest. Maybe he's going to survive. More Hemlock. Yes, I'm down for more Hemlock as well. Hey to you, Smalls, and hail to the Simpire indeed. Once more, the Simpire shall rule the positivity in Star Wars. And the fandom shall have peace. Good. Baymax says, I think you're right about the tipping point being the last straw versus Sid. She's a beach. She is a little bit. She is a little bit. Just a little beach. Star Wars. Hey. Alright, what is we saying now? OG, good to see you in the chat, my man. Cad Bane definitely survives, says chilling in the basement. Maybe we'll see in the Mandalorian. I would really like that. We've already visited Tatooine once. I'm hoping that Boba Fett is going to be in this season in some capacity, maybe even tonight. I'm excited though. I don't know exactly where tonight's episode of Bad Batch is of Mando's going, but in terms of Bad Batch, we were of course given some hints this week from some of our favorites, being Jennifer Corbett and the Kiner brothers, of course. So let's pull this up real quick and let me share this with you guys, because it is a fun one. I hope this works. Okay, cool. Of course it worked. So this was the Kiner brothers tweet today of them teasing out the episode, and it's not a fun one. It's a little bit scary. Here, let me adjust this. It's actually kind of terrifying with all of them smiling like that. So behind me, we have the Bad Batch, and Hunter's in the right corner. You can't even see him there. That was probably a better way to do it. Just like that. So Hunter's in the corner there, there. But we have Rex, Echo, and Crosshair from back in the Clone Wars, and their faces are crossed out. Now, Jennifer Corbett, also the showrunner, in the comments says, and I'll add, did these sound like the actions of a man who had all he can eat? I don't know what the heck they're talking about. They're clearly messing with us like they have been for quite some time. You can see what I said there if you follow our Twitter, at Vader's Lair on Twitter. But with the Kiner brothers, crossing out these faces, it had me real worried this morning. I'm like, well, we know Rex is going to survive this, but what about Crosshair and Echo, man? I'm worried. And, they're probably just messing with us because they've been messing with us all season. The most likely case of what tonight's episode is going to be based on what we see here is that we're just not going to have Echo, Rex, and Crosshair in it. And that's what they're trying to say, is that, that's why their faces are crossed out. But then that could just be me being hopeful. And, of course, Jennifer Corbett's thing of a man who had all he can eat. The only thing I can think of, maybe these three characters are going to get eaten by the Zillo Beast. I don't know. Obviously, Rex survives. But maybe he gets, eaten into the Zillo Beast and he ends up killing it from within. That it probably would make more sense than killing it without, because, the armor and all. But maybe these three characters get eaten by the Zillo Beast? I don't know. I have no idea anymore. So to see what Jennifer Corbett also said, she said, enjoy tonight's visual feast. As if she wasn't already talking about eating enough. I want to know what it is. I want to know what it is that the Bad Batch are eating, or if somebody's eating the Bad Batch. Protect Echo and Crosshair at all costs, though. Those are two of my favorite dudes in the show, and if they end up dying, I'm going to be a real sad Sheiv. Probably more sad than I was last week. Zillo treats? No! Don't say it ain't so, Jedi Mike, please. Cad Bane needs to retire and live out the rest of his days on Naimos, says Aaron Tomato. Maybe he does. Maybe he does. Omi Juan Homie says it would be nice to see Sid go to Lando route and see and less DJ, but don't have high hopes. Yeah, I don't really have high hopes for Sid either. She could surprise me though. She's surprised me a lot throughout the show, so I hope I can make it through to the Bad Batch long night on East Coast with work in the morning. I hear you, OG, especially with this time change. I'm pretty sure you guys changed times on the East Coast, right? I know Arizona technically doesn't, and a few other places, but I don't even know at this point. Muse VHS, welcome into the chat. Vader's Lair, when is it out? How much left to release episode 3? So let me check the time. Right now it is 10:20 Pacific daylight time, I think is what it is right now. So PDT, it is 10:18. So if you guys are confused with the whole time change over here, the episode should be dropping in about an hour and 42 minutes. Now, if you guys are just joining into the stream or you're new to the channel, first of all, a big welcome to you. Thanks for hanging out in Vader's Lair tonight. We're going to get out of here in the next 10 to so minutes, so thanks for hanging out with us. But we are going to be doing a watch party later tonight for tonight's episode about 30 minutes before it airs. So in about an hour and 10 minutes from right now, we're going to be doing a live stream for tonight's episode of the Mandalorian season 3, episode 3. And then around 1:30 probably, since it might be a longer Mando episode tonight, we're going to say around 1:30 a.m. PDT, Pacific Daylight Time, we're going to be doing our Bad Batch watch party as well. So make sure to subscribe to the channel to stay up to date and stay tuned for that. Follow us on all the socials, at Vader's Lair over here. Sheiv the Wise on Instagram. Vader's Lair on Twitter, and of course Vader's Lair and Sheiv the Wise here on YouTube as well. Yes, 2:30 a.m. Eastern is when our watch party will begin, and about 2:50 a.m. Eastern is when the episode should be dropping. 12:20 Central, says Sabersmith. It's 12. So right now it's 12:20 Central. So you guys are about 2 hours ahead of us on the Central Standard Time. And for those of you in Central Standard Time, about 2:20 or 2 o'clock in the morning, I think, is when the episode releases for you guys. 1:30 Central party. Yes, that's when our watch party is starting. It's 1:30 Central. And yes, go check out our Discord. Thanks to Tim earlier in the chat for helping moderate. I appreciate you, my man. Dulceveg says 2 a.m. Mexico. Okay, cool. Dulceveg VG. I don't know how to say your name. May the force be with you all as well, and with you, Brandon. So if you guys have any last predictions for tonight, make sure to throw them into the chat. General Grievous, good to see you too, man. I hope I see all you guys later for the watch party, because it's going to be a fun night of Mandalorian, I think. Again, it's going to be about 56 minutes and 11 seconds, I think, is roughly what the time period or the time of tonight's episode is going to be for the Mandalorian. So I'm definitely excited for tonight. Hell yeah. Happy to see the hype, General Grievous. May the force be with you, Jedi Mike. Alright, y'all. We're going to get on out of here. Is it a long episode, says Muse? Yes, I think it's going to be about an hour. 56 minutes is what we can expect. CT0420, may the force be with you all, and enjoy the night. Watch Bonanza! Let's go! Sheiv gonna fall out just before the episode drops. No. I'm going to go get my coffee now, actually. Make sure that I can stay up. But thank you guys for hanging out with us. No, don't call it Smalls. Obsession, I'm glad to see you up still. Thank you all for hanging out with us in the chat. I appreciate the heck out of every single one of you guys in Vader's Lair. Thank you for sticking with us through all the technical difficulties as we sort through getting this new PC, making sure everything is working as it should be, because so far, not quite. I still got to work out a few kinks. I might end up working on that right now, if I can. And I also got to get some emotes going for the Discord and some cool perks for you guys that are members with all the new members, thanks to Lord Vito. Thank you all for hanging out with us, though. I expect to see you all later for our watch party. Thank you for hanging with us once more. And may the force be with you guys always. Peace out, chat. There goes our music. I gotta fix that. Maybe Bo-Katan and Mando join forces to rebuild Mandalore. I'm here for it. Do it. Do it. I think it might be 56 minutes of actual show chilling, but we'll see. We'll see. I'll see you guys tonight. Peace.